Saturday morning, the Experts program kicks off, and Luis Alvarez, CEO of the Alvarez Technology Group, joining us right now. Good morning, Luis.
Good morning, Mark. How was Christmas?
It was really nice. We had a very wonderful Christmas, a lot of great food, and plenty of leftovers to last for probably the next week. How about you?
Yeah, same thing. We made a brisket, which is the first time we've done that for Christmas Day, and there was, only a few of us here, so we ended up with a lot of leftovers. I'll be eating brisket sandwiches for a while.
All the way through to New Year's. Well, you can eat them on New Year's Day as you watch the football games, right?
Yep, exactly.
Hey, let's talk a little technology this morning. Amazon wants your devices to talk to each other. Should you take a walk on the new Amazon Sidewalk? What on earth is the Amazon Sidewalk?
Well, I'm sure a lot of people this holiday season were gifted things from Amazon like Alexa and the Ring security cameras and Ring doorbells. And Amazon has been working kind of in a very kind of skunkworks fashion to develop technology that can extend the range of these devices so that in case your internet goes down, so let's say your internet at your house goes down and your Alexa, of course, can't connect up, neither can the Ring, you can instead hop onto your neighbor's internet connection because it's going to be enabled with something called Sidewalk. So all of these Alexa and Ring devices are going to participate in this mesh network called Sidewalk that Amazon has developed, and it uses the spectrum between what we traditionally think of as Wi-Fi, which has very short range, and then the cellular network, which obviously has a much longer range. But these lower bandwidth devices and lower bandwidth frequency ranges allow these devices to talk to each other at over half a mile away. So it is designed to basically leverage everybody's internet connection so that they can stay up and running in case any one or two people's internet connection goes down. And it's called Sidewalk. And by the way, it's enabled by default when you buy one of those products.
Okay, so it would predicate that my neighbors have to have the same system as well. It's just not going to allow me to jump on somebody's AT&T connection or whatever else they're using.
Yeah, so basically all Alexa devices in a particular neighborhood, let's say within a half a mile, will have this feature enabled, and they can leverage each other to communicate if in case one or more of those internet connections goes down. And the idea is that Amazon claims it's very secure, that none of the data that is transmitted is collected by them or anybody else. They have 3 layers of encryption, and it is topped out limiting internet access for any given 30-day period to a maximum of 580 megabits, which is fairly small in the grand scheme of things. But again, it uses very small packets of information. So the idea is that this is a way for neighbors to help neighbors stay connected in case, for whatever reason, their internet goes down. So if you're a Ring user, for example, and you're out of town, and depending on your Ring security cameras, and then all of a sudden your internet goes down, typically that would mean that you'd be locked out. But with this feature enabled, if any of your neighbors nearby have Alexa or Ring devices, you could bridge them to your camera so you could still have access to your cameras and control them.
Is this something that if your neighbors were investing in this, that you might do this as well, or do you have some concerns?
I always have concerns when features like this are enabled by default. I think it's great that Amazon is trying to create this mesh concept because I think it does have some value, but I would much prefer that they disable this by default and let you opt in, because most people aren't going to read the fine print. They're just going to set up their device, they're going to configure it, and unbeknownst to them, they're now going to be sharing bandwidth potentially with their neighbors and anybody else that happens to be driving around with an Alexa or Ring device. You can turn it off if you want to. You just have to go into your Alexa app, into settings and account settings, and you'll see Amazon Sidewalk as one of the options, so you can turn it off, which is what I'd recommend you do unless you really understand what the implications are and are happy to work with the entire community to stay connected.
Interesting type of stuff. I guess the other thing, to me, in a way, it looks like it's a product in search of a reason to exist, because so many people, yes, they have Wi-Fi at home, but a lot of people also have the ability to use their phone as a hotspot. So if your Wi-Fi goes out, you could always enable the Wi-Fi hotspot on your telephone and get on the internet that way.
Well, what the bandwidth or the band wave and frequency that this system uses is called the LoRaWAN, and it's intended for low packets, low power devices to communicate with each other. And I could see that this is kind of an evolution with Amazon, where they're deploying this and then going to start adding other devices that you can use throughout your house and maybe your yard that can communicate on this low frequency bandwidth, and you can have all sorts of Internet of Things devices connected to your network.
Luis Alvarez, CEO of the Alvarez Technology Group, has been our guest this morning. You can reach them online, alvareztg.com, @AlvarezTG. That is is the Twitter handle, and Louis, the toll-free number for the I-Team.
Give us a call to 866-78-I-TEAM. That's 866-784-8326.